In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, the most merciful, we are often found complaining that a loved one of mine, mother, my mom, my father, my sister, my brother, my cousin, my sister-in-law, my brother-in-law, any very close friend of mine. Why aren't they doing that? They should have been. He should have been doing it. She should not have been doing it. This is what we are found complaining for most of the time. Every time we think about someone else, we think like, why don't they do this? Why don't she do that? Why is he doing this thing? He should not have been doing that. She should start doing this. This is what we are found complaining to the people, to the near and dear one, to our near and dear one, to our closer people, to our loved one. And we are of the view that if at all he brings this sort of improvement in herself, the things will get much better. And if at all he bring this sort of improvement in himself, the things will get much better. And now I want to say here that if at all we are having a thinking like this one, a complaint like this one against our loved one, they too are having certain complaints against us as well. It's not like they are without this sort of complaints against us. They do have complaints against us, the complaints of similar nature. And what is the trouble here actually? The trouble here is that neither we ourselves nor they people are ready to reform ourselves. And this actually, our lack of willingness to reform ourselves, this is something very bad, and this is something very bad indeed. Why? Because as long as we are resisting the reforms in we ourselves, I think we are we are not allowing any change, any considerable improvement, and any considerable development to take place, because actually these improvements become the basis. These improvements, either in we ourselves, either in me myself, or in any of my loved one, as far these reforms are concerned, unless and until we do introduce these reforms, we will not be able to solve our problem, because we will not be able to become a good human being. We will not be able to become a competent human being first of all, and we do have to become a competent human being prior to doing anything else. Unless and until we are improving ourselves, unless and until we are improving ourselves, we will never be able to improve the results produced. We will never be able to produce the circumstances, because all of these circumstances, because all of these results produced depends upon our performance. But as far our performance is concerned, it does depend directly upon how ready we are to reform ourselves. The more readiness we do show, exhibit, and practice in reforming ourselves, the more easier it will become to change and to improve the circumstances. And not only to change and to improve, our performance will be improved first. As a result of the reforms we do introduce in our own life, as a result of the reforms we do introduce in our own life, it will directly improve the performance we are making, the performance we are delivering. And as far our performance is concerned, it will directly improve the results we are producing. So the things are not as complicated as we do think. The trouble is that we have left all of these things over the luck, over the fortune. The trouble is, the problem is that we have left all of these things over the circumstances, over the situations, over the luck, and over the other people. Because as a matter of fact, these reforms which must be introduced in ourselves, these are very challenging. These are the real difficult thing. But let me tell you that unless and until we do become ready, to bring introduce these reforms in we ourselves, we will never ever be able to change the circumstances. because we will never ever be able to change the situation, to change the results. The results depends upon reforming ourselves. So I'm not particularly saying that what sort of reforms are needed, because each and every one of us do need the reform, but these are of different nature. I need different sort of reform, and you need another different type of reform, but the reforms are needed in my case as well as in your case. If at all there is one thing, if at all there is one thing which I think must be the very basic one, it is about the things which directly affect our our uh, our health, because the health is of prime importance. Either it is psychological one or it is a physical one. Both of these types of health, the more healthy we are psychologically and physically, the more healthy our lifestyle will become, and the more healthy will become the results that we are trying, we are found producing. So keep one thing in the mind, and this one thing in the mind must be ingrained upon our mind, upon our brain. That is, all of the things are directly linked. All of the things relating to me are directly linked with the sort of reforms I am introducing in myself. If at all I'm always working upon the reform, then it means that I'm always trying to improve. Then it means that always there will be sort of one sort of improvement or the other type of improvement in myself as well as in my circumstances. And if at all I'm not, if at all I'm reluctant to introduce the reforms in myself, and likewise the other people are also reluctant to bring the reforms in their life, in themselves, this actually means that there is not going to be any sort of change or the positive change and the improvement, and there will not be any improvement in the circumstances, in the situation, the results we do produce. Thank you.